Welcome back to Season 2 of the 5 Star Counsel Podcast, the 5 Star Counselor Bootcamp. Over the next 6 weeks, in 12 episodes, I'm taking you step by step through my service framework. Every episode focuses on one key aspect of service, not only tackling common misconceptions about that aspect, but also giving you clear takeaways and tactical exercises for you to do on your own. This will help you develop service in your firm so that it works for you, your employees, and your clients. I'll help you build the firm clients rave about because you, your clients, and your employees are happier, leading to more referrals, repeat business, and 5-star reviews. Let's get started. Welcome back to the 5-Star Bootcamp. Now that we've solidified your business basics by determining your mission, vision, and values, and then going into the deeper issues in determining what your firm does and how it does it, figuring out your firm's needle, how to manage your practice by being able to see both the individual trees as well as the larger forest itself, and discussing how we avoid those red herring distractions, it's time to get into exactly how we improve service. Remember that every business offers a product, and that product is made up of 3 different components: a physical component, a technical component, and a service component. We're going to focus on that service component and how it breaks down. Episode 7 will cover what each star in the 5-star means so that you can better recognize your service experiences. It'll help you frame up what comes in episodes 8, 9, and 10, where we'll cover your firm's people, your firm's delivery standards, and your firm's consistency. As we get into service, I want to put everything in context. We always talk about 5 stars, but what do I think 5 stars means? As a firm owner, of course, I want 5 stars every time, and that's what I hope people are leaving on Google. I want to make sure that we're talking in the same language about these stars. As lawyers, we're hired for our technical skills because we can get results for clients. We improve our service to soften the blow on those times when we're going to make mistakes. As risk-averse pessimists, of course, we want to think that we'll never make a mistake. The reality is we will make mistakes, and when those mistakes come up, we have to be able to better serve our clients. By having better service, it's going to soften the blow for our clients. We'll talk more about this in our episode on standards, but instead of perfection, we need to be looking for excellence. When I was at the hotel, perfection wasn't expected, and we can't expect it of our law firms either. Again, looking for excellence, making sure that we're always striving to be better is what we should be doing. Now, if we only have our technical product, we're not going to give ourselves any slack. Also, a physical product doesn't give you any slack either with your clients when things go wrong. They're not coming to you for gifts or any other stuff. We've got to keep people around by making sure that they understand why they're here. As I record this at the beginning of November 2022, I come off of a busy travel October. I stayed in some great hotels, and I stayed in some perfectly fine hotels. What was the difference between the 3-star, the 4-star, and the 5-star? It wasn't just overwhelming physical delivery. Stuff isn't service. Looking back over the hotels I stayed at in October and the beginning of November, the hotel that I stayed at that had the smallest room actually had the best service. That's the one that I'm going to remember, and if I ever go back to Kansas City, that's the hotel I'll want to stay at first. But it had the smallest room. That room was probably half the size of an average Motel 6. But the people and the service made it wonderful. It was easy to get things done, and when there were mistakes, and there was a leak in the bathroom, the hotel was on top of it. What did that hotel do? I wasn't made to feel forgettable or fungible as a client. I wasn't interchangeable. They took care of me. When the room server delivered dinner to me, he asked me how my day was going, looked me in the eye, and smiled. That made me feel like I mattered. In so many places, you will barely make any eye contact with the person who you are paying. It comes back to that old line about it's not what you do, it's how you make people feel. And sure, we may be hired for results, but people will come back to us and recommend us based on how we've made them feel. As we think about the components, let's start with physical. How can we rate something on a physical component? Well, look at the publicly accessible common areas. As a technical component business, we don't need overwhelming offices, but they should be clean. Look at the conference rooms. Look at your offices. What does it look like? One of the rules to keep in mind is that cleanliness conveys competence. If you walk into somebody's office and it looks like a bomb just went off, you're going to think twice about whether or not they've got their practice organized well. When we think about the physical component in a law firm, this is not the place to run up the score. This is a place to get the bare minimums and maybe a little bit more, but don't worry about having some overwhelming office on the top floor of your building with panoramic views of the city. Clients aren't paying for that. When we think about the technical component of your business, this is why you're hired. What is the congealed knowledge and experience that you have from years of doing this? What can you do for your clients to move the needle further and faster for them? Are you going to provide more effective strategy for them? Are you more than that replacement level professional who could get the job done and not be memorable? Ultimately, the technical component is about being the expert that is recognized by your peers for what you know. When we think about the service component, we'll delve more into service in episodes 8, 9, and 10, but here are a few things to think about. Who are the people behind the desk? Are they smiling at you? Are they making eye contact? How are they treating you? Are they friendly and empathetic? When you look at the delivery, beyond just the person, what do you have in front of you? Is the standard high, or have they just done the bare minimum? If you go to this place multiple times, or if you have multiple interactions with them, is it consistent across those interactions? Ultimately, where has this business set the bar? The standards and the consistency are going to be different than delivery. Where has the business set the bar for itself, and how have they done relative to that bar? Okay, so let's get to those stars. We'll start with 3 stars. This is what I'd call an average experience. If you look back on something that's a 3-star experience, this would be tolerable, fine. This experience would have pluses and minuses, but at the end of the day, the work got done. Basically, you've met the expectations, it was good enough. As we think about law firms, this would be a firm that gets the job done, but does nothing that is memorable enough for the client to remember who you are if they're asked for a recommendation. You're basically competent in whatever you're doing, but it's nothing to write home about. If we think about the fees that you're charging an average rate and clients are paying it. They're not really grumbling too much more than they would about any other fee, but you're not charging above market rates and you aren't giving anything back to them. This is a right down the middle, replaceable experience. If we think about the Vorprof, the value over a replacement professional, this is a replacement level experience. From 3 stars, we're going to jump all the way to the bottom. A 1-star experience is a warning to other potential clients. They've walked out on you and they think that it's so bad, it's criminal, and that you've actually robbed them. If we think about the fees, you've probably given some of them back, or you probably should have because the experience is so bad. When I think back on this, most businesses don't actually deserve the 1-star rating. This is when people have actively hated whatever it is they were experiencing. You've wasted their time and their money. Again, a 1-star rating really should be a warning to other clients. This doesn't mean that you made a mistake and you're automatically getting relegated to the 1-star experience. I will tell you, having worked at the Four Seasons for years, mistakes happened on a daily basis, and we talked about them every morning, every day, every week of every year. But you can recover from mistakes. What makes a 1-star experience is the mistake that goes unresolved. Not going back to the client and asking them how you can make things better and then fixing it for them. Again, you can make a mistake, but if you let that mistake fester with the client, that's where the 1-star experiences come from. Another contrast with 3 stars is these people will remember exactly your name, what you did, and be glad to tell everybody who will listen why they should never give you any money. Moving to 2 stars. A 2-star experience is between average and criminal. So it's been an annoying experience. There have been some problems. People may remember you, they may not. At the end of the day, they didn't like the experience, but they got what they needed done. There are serious flaws in the operation that need to be addressed. What we're doing here is saying, while I didn't necessarily get a refund, this isn't what they were looking for when they thought it was going to be easy.
It's producer Bobby here, and I'm chiming in with a little bit color commentary and questions for John on this episode. As I was telling John, 2 stars for me is often worse than 1 star when I'm reading reviews online, especially. 1 star is scorched earth. Somebody's upset about something, or they could just be unhinged and they were never going to be pleased to begin with. 2 stars is enough to be like, there was a hint of something okay here, but really this was a massive failure.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it. The 1 star, you may be able to write some of them off mentally and emotionally, that these people didn't know what they were doing. The 2 star have given you the benefit of the doubt on at least some part of this and have separated themselves out from the psychos in the 1 stars. So let's think about better things. 4 and 5 stars. Now, when we start thinking about 4 and 5 star reviews, there are 2 ways to get those 4th and 5th stars. It's possible to get 1 star in my mind for having great service. It's possible to get 1 star for having a better technical and physical experience. So you could have a 5 star Arby's by having great people.
I'm sorry, a 5 Starbies?
A 5 Starbies. You heard it here first. That 5 Starbies is going to have people who are on top of everything. You'll have cloth napkins and utensils changed for every course. But that probably won't happen. So, as we think about this in context of your law firm, think about it as 2 different stars you're picking up. One is going to be how you deliver your service, which is what we're talking about in episodes 8, 9, and 10. And one will be for the physical and technical product. The 4-star experience is good. You've exceeded your expectation. But what does that mean? Coming back from San Francisco for a conference, I went to a bunch of different tiki bars. They all exceeded my expectations of going to a regular bar or even the hotel bar where I was staying. The hotel bar, that was 3 stars. It was fine. They served me beers and allowed me to watch my Astros win the World Series. But put in context, there's not much for me to recommend about going to that hotel bar. When we went out to some of the tiki bars, they had a better physical experience in their bar. I will remember going there, and I'm glad I went. For some of them, I may even come back. They've done what they said they will do without much extra fanfare. It's good enough for a repeat purchase, but it could be better. They knew what they were doing technically in making the drinks. They knew how to set up a better physical experience than just an average bar. Their value over a replacement bar is high, but not pegged to the top. When we think about your law firm, this is what it means to be the technical expert. You are the expert. People are coming to you, but we haven't talked about service yet. You're picking up that extra star by being very good at what you do. You get to charge a little bit more for it. And so we come to our 5th star, the best of the best. Exceptional experiences that you love. These could be great, superb, or even life-changing. But beyond that, your clients are actively recommending you to others. Going back to my tiki experience in San Francisco, one bar stood out above the rest. Sure, this place had great original drink menus, hitting on that technical component. The decorations inside that bar were amazing. It felt like we had been dropped in the middle of a jungle, and that drop had come when the plane had crashed. I can't imagine a better place physically to have been. But what really put it over the top was the staff. And this is the key to this 5th star. It's your people and how they delivered. We had 2 bartenders, Gabe and Eugene. Gabe was the quiet one who was technically competent and did most of the serving for us. Gabe knew everything about every drink and could explain it. Eugene was there for color commentary, and he put it over the top with the combination and the comparison with Gabe. Eugene was making fun of me as an Astros fan, and I was giving it right back to him. But by the time we left, Eugene was giving me a hug and making sure that we had been taken care of. And it was that connection, the experience that I had with the people working in the bar, that really put it over the top. As we think about your law firm, this is where service really tries to go. When people say we're going to give gifts, this is what they're looking for, but trying to cover up with their American Express. The gifts aren't going to create the connection. You, your staff, and how they deliver to your clients is how you'll create that connection. As we put together what it means to be a 4 and a 5-star experience, we're starting at 3. 3 stars is an average experience. You got what you needed, no fuss, no muss, and it's mostly forgettable. You can pick up the 4th star either through having a great physical or technical component, or you can pick it up by having great service delivery. The 5th star, you're crossing over whichever star you didn't pick up before, you're picking up there. It's possible to be a 4-star experience by having great service delivery, but not being technically the best or having some overwhelming physical experience. Likewise, you can be a 4-star experience because it's memorable. You have great decor, but the delivery isn't so great. The 5th star merges it all. It brings everything together. Your people are great. The service is wonderful. Technically, you're better than a replacement professional. And the physical components aren't really that important, but they're in place. The offices are clean and it looks nice where you are. But you're not running up the score by having overwhelming offices. Again, it's all in proportion. And when people hire lawyers, they're looking for that technical component. The service is there to provide some slack. The physical component, your offices, can provide some slack as well. But if you don't have your technical components in line, it won't matter. Our exercise this time is really to start looking around you. As you go out and experience things in your daily life, use this metric. 3 stars is average. 4 stars, they've kicked up one thing, but not everything. 5 stars really are those above average. I'm going to tell everybody what has happened to me and make sure that they go there too. Experiences. Thanks so much for listening. You can find more info on us and get your free white paper on client service at fivestarcounsel.com. You can get in touch with me at john@fivestarcounsel.com. If you enjoyed the podcast, please subscribe wherever fine podcasts are found and leave us a review wherever you can.